Hello, friends. Welcome back to Me and the Boys Wrestling. This, I guess, is the start of Season 2, sort of, or maybe 1.5. I'm not sure yet. There's some adjustments that need made, really, before Season 2 officially gets underway. So, but yeah, I don't know. We're here tonight. This is exciting. We got a tournament. We've crowned a champion. You know what? I'm going to start this link right now because there's lots of loading. So I'm starting now. Coming back. And it takes forever to start. It's brutal. We've crowned a champion at the finale of Season 1. That champion is Brooke Sugarfoot Kavanaugh. And for me, no surprise, the most experience, the former Quarantine League Wrestling champion. Of course, if you believe in all that, then experience factors in. So what we need to establish tonight is a Money in the Bank holder. A person who can challenge Sugarfoot for that title at any point. At any point, really. So starting us off, we've got Zipa versus Brent. I'm going to turn my volume down. Brent, of course, maybe the runner-up of Season 1 of Me and the Boys Wrestling. Zipa starting off, though, with some momentum. So the Money in the Bank will work as long as a title match is happening in a normal style match, which kind of sucks. Like, it'd be nice to do it in a Extreme Rules or any of those, or a triple threat. So basically, unless there's some circumstances that merit, all title matches will be normal matches, just so we have a better chance of taking advantage of that Money in the Bank feature. Because it's obviously very exciting and lots of fun. Zipa's still in control here. Goes for a gutbuster on his longtime buddy. And then takes a minute to pander and shove it in his face. Throws him out of that corner. Oh, where's he going here? Up to the second rope. Drops the fist. Wow. Hurts his hand in the process, but he's going to go for a cover. Too soon, my friend. Too soon. These guys have started the matches with no finishing moves. Just to keep everything, cool. I believe we'll see the tournament tree pop up in between matches, which is kind of neat. Zipa with a European uppercut. Still in control of this match. Very little offense from Brent. There's a massive DDT. Wow. We're here at the Wasteland. I like to keep it in the Wasteland. I like that venue. The referee counts 2 on Brent. That Wasteland referee with the referee face paint. How about him? Now Zipa throws Brent down to the outside. Now I think these matches are Extreme Rules. Oh, that was weird. Brent tried to punch Zipa, but he hit him with a sling blade. Or a neck breaker of some sort. Zipa pandering again. And why not? You're well in control here. He hits him with the Luthez press and the Where's My Money. He went to drop the double hammer fist, but Brent reversed it. But Zipa reversed that and threw Brent back into the ring. And just stomps on his back. Zipa on fire. I'm going for a big suplex. And again pandering while Brent rolls to the outside. Just dominance from one James Zipa. And Brent fires back with an elbow. And a neck breaker of his own onto that hard dirt floor. Brent's going for a weapon here, maybe an equalizer. But Zipa beats him to the punch. Brent fires Zipa down the way there. And then kicks him in the back a few times for good measure. Maybe he can eke his way back into this match after taking a beating for like 5 minutes now. Oh, but Zipa reverses. Take away all that momentum. And a hip toss onto the hard dirt. The hard dirt. Brent Irish whips, but there's nothing for Zipa to hit, so he just falls down. And now he's pandering, and I'm not really sure what he's so excited about. Should have stayed on that man. Brent fires Zipa back into the ring. Nothing came of that chair. Go get that chair, bud. Get something else. Brent taking a breather, I guess, on the outside. Oh, he is going for the chair. Okay. Zipa again beats him to the punch. And hits Brent with a backbreaker. Now Zipa's got the chair. Oh, and he misses. And Brent punches the chair out of Zipa's hand. Nobody actually got hit with this chair. That chair is useless. This is a pretty good match to start us off in this tournament. Basically a King of the Ring style. We got 8 fellas. And we're going to go down to 4, then down to 2. And we're going to determine our first Me and the Boys Money in the Bank holder. And that's exciting. That's a milestone for Me and the Boys. I didn't want to bring the titles in right away. Because it gets all, I don't know, it gets all muddy. So let's have a big, we'll establish after 10 weeks. That's a long, grueling process. So the winner's going to have earned that belt. And that's what happened. But now we need a number 1 contender. And a Money in the Bank holder. Zipa hits the Falcon Arrow on Brent. Oh, wow. He kicks out at 2. That was 2 3/4. Now Brent's got Zipa up, and he hits him with the Falcon Arrow. Maybe this is going to decide this once and for all. And Zipa's going to kick out. Maybe neither man should be using the Falcon Arrow. I forgot all about that little rivalry over the Falcon Arrow. Maybe this is going to settle that. Oh, Zipa just bloodied Brent on that canvas. Now he's going for a pin off a big DDT. He's going to get him. Bloodies him. DDTs him. Over. Wow. Zipa's going to move on in this tournament. I think I set it so that the power bars remain consistent. So if you're at half power, you're going to start the next match with half power. So Brent got a bunch of offense in there at the end. Maybe that's enough to hold James Zipa back in this tournament. We'll see. As we go through the replays, the Falcon Arrow there. That was like 2.75. That was crazy. And then Brent's Falcon Arrow attempt. And then, surprisingly, the match didn't end with a Falcon Arrow, but with a huge DDT that bloodied Brent open and leaves you with your winning, standing tall. 1 James Zipa. There you go, bud. We celebrated this man's birthday recently, and we played some of the Jackbox games, and he was just dominant at the Jackbox games. So picks up a big win here, continuing that momentum of dominance amongst our friends group. Of course, none of that factors in to WWE 2K20, the most glitched video game in the history of video games. Although I haven't played Cyberpunk, I heard that was glitched all to hell. There we see our tournament tree. So up next, we've got Chris taking on Danger Boy Dana Boyle in a one-on-one Extreme Rules match. Loading. I got to give Danger Boy Dana Boyle a beard because he definitely is the beard captain of the whole world right now. So that's one of those changes I was talking about for Season 2. We're going to have a surprise debut on the first episode of Season 2 of Me and the Boys. So let's not call this Episode 1 of Season 2. Let's call this, Season 1.5. And we'll kind of work our way in. There's still some shenanigans happening over at Fantasy Booking. And you can go check that out and we'll see. Some of the guys on Fantasy Booking were talking smack about some of the guys on Me and the Boys. So we'll keep you posted on that developing story. As Chris just picks up and manhandles Danger Boy Dana Boyle. There you can see my controller dying. And me panicking frantically to get a new one. Chris puts Danger Boy up on that top turnbuckle. We'll see where he's going to go. Just a super sidewalk slam. Wow. That's a vicious move. That's a big man coming down right on your sternum like that. That'll knock the wind right out of you. Danger Boy fights back, though. A lot of fight left in him. He'll fight anyone, from what I understand. He's just going to pick Chris up, dump him over the top. Oh, and the Tempe Suicida. Suicide dive right through those middle ropes. Takes Chris all the way down to the floor. Now he puts him in a headlock and a kind of a sling blade, like a neck breaker. I think Chris reverses, punches Danger Boy right in the stomach. Throws him back in the ring. Chris kept calling his tights a diaper, and that's not accurate. That's not a diaper, bud. Come on. Those are the Ultimate Warrior match-worn tights that you bought off eBay. Where's he going? He's going up to the top rope. You don't see that too often. And just a big splash. Or maybe a knee. Yeah, why not go for a pin? That could have crushed a man's skull. Chris disappointed he didn't get the 3 count, but Danger Boy's now back up. Just in time to take another one of those body shots. And a big kick. Educated feet. The educated feet of Chris McClellan. He's nothing if not sure-footed. And going for a pin. I think his bum says out of control. There you can get a look at it. Out of control. Because Chris McClellan is definitely out of control. And just a straight right. Take that, Danger Boy Dana Boyle. Or maybe it's a hook, not a straight, I guess, but a straight up right. And Chris going for a overhead, I don't know, an overhead Samoan drop thing. And he gets him with that. Wow, I'm surprised. I don't think that was a finisher or anything. I don't know. There was what really did Danger Boy Dana Boyle in. That was like a knee right in the throat. And he was just on instinct at that point. Chris hits him with a big spear. I don't even remember that happening. But there it is. There's the evidence right there. Puts Danger Boy on his back. Chris goes for a pin here, but he doesn't get him. And then the overhead toss right there. That does in Danger Boy Dana Boyle. And lets Chris move on in this tournament. Which, if you remember from the tournament tree, that means we're going to see the infamous duo of Chris McClellan and James Zipa go one-on-one, and that's always a treat. Extreme Rules style, Money in the Bank on the line. Moving on to round 2, Chris McClellan. And, of course, James Zipa. Chris taking a few minutes on the top rope to celebrate. And why not? Well-deserved victory. Chris was disappointed his character hadn't really done well since, episode 3 of season 1, somewhere in there. Look at all the technical difficulties because of glitches and whatnot. That's my fault, that one. Again, the controller's dead. All the controllers are just dead, and I'm struggling to figure it out. Up next, though, moving on in round 1 of the tournament, we're going to see James, that's me and my avatar, take on one Adam Kennedy, which is also always a match for the ages, because, of course, we have that thing that happened on the football field ages ago, where Kennedy was going on 3 and I was going on go. You know the story. If you're a follower of me and the boys wrestling, I tell it every time they cross paths. You need to have a better story. Like that one where Adam Kennedy got hit in the spleen with a hockey stick by some kid, and I remember calling him in the hospital and being like, hey, are you okay? Why'd that kid hit you with a hockey stick? And to this day, no one really knows. Strange times. Here we go now. James comes in hot for a clothesline, but Kennedy ducks it immediately and follows up with a knee lift right to the nose. And some vicious rights, taking James down to one knee. Kennedy doesn't like the gimmick matches, he says. His character doesn't do so well in, the Elimination Chamber, the Battle Royal. I think it's just excuses, really. But we'll see. We'll see. Here you go, Kennedy, one-on-one. Oh, there you can see I get a viewer who probably abruptly leaves when they're like, I don't recognize these characters. If that's one of you boys out there, don't spoil the results if you happen to catch the live viewing. As always, friends, thank you for watching me and the boys wrestling. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please like and subscribe to my channel. Because why not? Stay up to date. Maybe you'll catch one of those live broadcasts. It'll be like watching a house show, and you kind of already know the results of the pay-per-view because they've been doing it at the house show for the last 3 months. Kind of like that. Yeah, James fighting back a little bit here. See where he's going with this. A flapjack or a pancake, and then he's going to take a minute to celebrate. Really taking it to Kennedy. James didn't do so well in the first season of me and the boys wrestling, and not for lack of opportunity. Had a couple of good feuds with Dr. Volcano. Of course, they have the same movesets, like a mirror match. Kennedy just dumps James out down onto the dirt floor. There's no way that felt good. Picks him up now. Let's see what he's got in mind here. James reverses, though, and just pops him one right in the face and fires him back into the ring. And picks him up. Kennedy, though, manages to grab him first for an Irish whip and a big boot that sends him right over the top rope. Now Kennedy taking a minute to pander, and just like that, the momentum shifts. Oh, James hits an elbow. Knocks Kennedy down on the dirt of the Wasteland Arena. Yeah, take a minute, bud. You celebrate. Got his Ultimate Warrior shirt on, POE hat. Stylish slacks. Kennedy now looking for a weapon, looking for an equalizer. You gonna fight dirty? Oh, come on. Kennedy smashes James with that chair. And again. And he swings wildly and misses. And then hits a third one. Swings again, but James rolls out of the way. And Kennedy vicious with that chair, just swinging wildly. James now wrestles the chair away from him, but Kennedy manages to hit him with an arm drag. And Kennedy with a choke slam backbreaker on the outside. Probably going to want to get that man in the ring. There you go. Could be ready. I would have brought the chair. They always drop the chair. I don't know why. Oh, wow. Kennedy hits End of Days on James, and that could be it. Wow, that's going to do it. That's a big finish. That was dominance. And Kennedy proving, settling the debate once and for all. His character does fare better in a one-on-one situation, and he could be one to watch in this tournament moving forward. Moving on to round 2, Adam Kennedy. There we see that chokeslam backbreaker. That was nasty out on the floor. And End of Days, of course, just a wicked move. The Kend of Days.
Here is your winner,
Mr. Kennedy. That was too easy. Right in the game and everything. Perfect. He's got those bear paws. And his M.M. Robinson football gear. Same gear that he was wearing that difficult day when football died for me. Yeah, take a minute, bud. You're off to round 2. The Wasteland crowd loving it. Going berserk out there in the Wasteland. As we move on, we'll go back to the tournament tree. We'll see who's next. Who's next on the list here? We haven't seen Shane yet. Shane versus Mikey P. Mike Trucks, Mike Pettit himself. Extreme Rules, one-on-one, taking place in the Wasteland. Shane didn't do so well season 1 of me and the boys wrestling, but there's always time to turn that around, you know. Make a couple of tweaks. Change your strategy, you know, maybe get more aggressive with it. Mikey P gave us some outstanding highlights from season 1. Of course, with those Bray Wyatt, that Bray Wyatt moveset, how could you not? The dancing around the ring, the odd flips. And his outfit is on fleek, too. Always ready for the toga party. I'm going to give him a top rope finisher because, oh wow, just a vicious backbreaker. I was told that he enjoys doing the sobble wobble off the top rope. So we'll have to give him something that's like that. Shane eats Pettit's knee right there. Then goes for like a head twist. I'm just going to twist the man's head right off his shoulders there. Pettit going for a pin early, but it's too soon for that. Shane's now up. And Pettit might have lost a bit of that momentum he could have had. There's that backbreaker again. That's just ridiculous. Pettit now stomping away and going to work on the arm of Shane. Wow. Just stretch a man's arm right out of his socket like that. And just slaps Shane down. Now Pettit's going for a chair, even though he's got this match well in control. Oh, a kendo stick. Uh-oh. But Shane beats him to the punch. Manages to wrestle him and drop an elbow on the back of his neck. Stiff body shot. And just tosses him over his head. Get the kendo stick. Shane gonna get his own weapon, even though there was a weapon right at his feet. He's got the sledgehammer. Oh, but Pettit gets to him first. These guys aren't very good at using the weapons tonight. Only Kennedy managing to land a few stiff chair shots. Onto me, lucky me. Shane with Pettit up over his head now drops him on that sledgehammer. We'll pretend like that makes a difference. It doesn't. Shane now taking over this match after a couple minutes of abuse. Power bars almost back to equal. Shane hits a stiff right, but gets thrown into the turnbuckle for his trouble. Now Pettit from behind going to spin him around. Now Pettit's going up to the second rope. And just a knee in the back. Nothing fancy about that. He's going to go for a pin. But still too soon. Get that sledgehammer, bud. Shane's up now. Threatens to punch Pettit, but doesn't. Pettit grabs him. Oh, for a vicious shoulder breaker. Right up in the air. Now Pettit does a backflip for no reason. Classic. Standard Mike Pettit fare here at Me and the Boys Wrestling. The only place you're going to see this kind of weird action. Tournaments with, guys you've never heard of, or maybe you have heard of them. Maybe somebody you know. Maybe a relative. Maybe your dad is involved. Maybe your dad loses weekly and you mock him. Pettit just hoofs Shane in the back. And he's going to go for a pin. Why not? Pettit's upset. I kicked him as hard as I could. Shane back up now. He goes for a kick and misses. Pettit charges at him, but Shane evades, maybe playing a bit of possum. Now Shane gets kicked in the face. And Pettit just those educated feet. And he brings Shane to his feet. And punch him in the face a couple of times. And setting him up for a pump handle face buster. A ripcord face buster? I don't know. Now he's got that kendo stick. Let's see. Oh, but he misses. And Shane goes for a spear. Knocking that kendo stick out of his hand. Now he's going to go for a pin. Pettit's still got a lot left in the tank. And you wonder if it factors in your decision making, how hard you want to go. Because if you take a beating, you're going to be at a disadvantage in the next round. Or is it just win my round no matter what the cost? Shane going for the big airplane spin. Maybe Shane has Cesaro's moves. Wow, that's disorienting for a man. We'll see what happens here. Shane going for a pin after that. And he's going to get him. Wow, Pettit had a lot of power left. Shane wins with the big spin. Huge victory for Shane. Gathers some momentum going into season 2. Even if you know, even if he doesn't go farther in the tournament, that's got to feel pretty good. Kind of playing with house money. I did a poetry tournament like that once. I was very new, and I paid my entry fee, and I went through all the steps. I did my poem, and the people liked it. And I didn't win the competition, but I ended up making finals. I expected to just get booted round one, and that was that. But I made the finals, and it felt really good. So, gather a little momentum. Gather some momentum, Shane. Take that moment and enjoy it. It's been it was a long 10 weeks of defeat for this man, basically. Constantly at the bottom of the standings. Not anymore. You're in the mix. Moving on to round 2. And we're down to 4. So we're going to see Shane take on Kennedy in round 2. But before we do that, one for the ages, we're going to see Chris versus Zipa. Always a deadly combination, whether they're fighting each other or whether they're, you know, teamed up. A deadly combination. We'll take this moment again to ask you to please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. You know, put a like on the video, leave a comment. If you would like to partake in me and the boys wrestling, you let me know. I will make you and add you to the roster. That's a thing that can happen. So if that's something you're interested in, you just let me know. That's all you have to do. And I will make it happen. There's the thumbnail for the Extreme Rules Chris versus Zipa one-on-one. Both men looking stylish. They look ready. Both men probably gassed from match 1. I don't know who ended up the worst for wear. I guess we'll see when the match starts. We'll see how the power bars look and what kind of disadvantage or advantage someone may have. Okay, both out of the red. Okay, Zipa's in far worse shape than Chris. Chris still got some green on his power bar, and Zipa's still barely got any yellow. Zipa, though, raining elbows. You know, maybe you got to be aggressive. You got to attack this man, get the power bars down to even, and then go from there kind of thing. Just a vicious punch right in the face. Probably like that time Chris got hit in the face with that baseball. I wasn't there, but I heard he just took a baseball right in the face. Probably felt like that. Zipa with a flying forearm to Chris now, and making those power bars even very quickly. Zipa's on fire here, going up to the top rope. Just a vicious flying elbow, Macho Man style, Shawn Michaels style off the top. And that's not going to get Chris, though. Chris, a powerful beast. A determined competitor. And, of course, sure-footed, as we mentioned earlier. Chris just punches Zipa right off the apron. And they're kind of sizing each other up on the outside. Chris is Irish whipped, but has nowhere to go. You're going to see Zipa maybe grab a weapon here. Nah, he's just going to celebrate with some kid in the front row. All right. I mean, I would have stayed on the men, but whatever. Zipa now picking up Chris like he's nothing. Like a sack of potatoes. And he's going to snake eyes him on that top rope as Chris falls to a seated position in the corner. Just for Zipa to stomp him and put a knee right in his face. Zipa picking him up now. And hits him with a strong right. And up again on his shoulder. And just hangs him out to dry on that top rope. That guillotine. Drops a big leg drop. Zipa really taking charge of this match. Back elbow right to the man's face. You can see maybe a suplex. Chris became a projectile in that moment. Now Zipa going for an arm bar. Try and tap the man out. Having done no work on his arms yet, I don't see that happening. But now he's got the arms into the yellow, so if he were to try that move again. Now Zipa's got him up. And there's the Falcon Arrow. Let's see if it's enough. That's going to be enough. Zipa wins round 2 with the Falcon Arrow. continuing to use that Falcon Arrow.
Here's another quick look at some of the highlights.
And he'll move on to the finals of this tournament. We are down to 3 men left in this tournament for the Money in the Bank contract that's going to give one of these guys at any point a shot at that title, as long as it's being defended in a normal match.
And he gets the job done here tonight. These guys look like a couple of hosses going.
And there we see the man standing tall.
I couldn't agree more.
And why not? He's been celebrating all night with these fans. You know, I think the fans are behind him. They're always cheering when he puts his arms up in the air. Crowd favorite, maybe. Crowd favorite, James Zipa, moving on to the final round of the Money in the Bank tournament for the Me and the Boys title contract. Man, more loading screens, of course. And I don't begrudge. I know that it takes a while to load. And it's not always easy to do the things, but for the purposes of video, it just leaves me with all this dead air. And what am I supposed to say? So it leads to tirades like this. You know damn right. Kennedy versus Shane in the Extreme Rules. And again, I don't remember who got the worst beating in round 1, but we'll find out as soon as that red scrolls all the way to the other side, which is a long way away. So I can tell you again, please like and subscribe to my channel. Check out Fantasy Booking. Check out some of the other playlists with music and poetry. I do lots of stuff. Come watch it. Here we go, though. Kennedy versus Shane. We'll have a look at those power bars that go all the way up before they come all the way back down. And it looks like Kennedy is in slightly better shape than Shane, but not by much. Shane going for an early pin. And why not? You want to end this match early. Kennedy misses wild with a hammer fist, and Shane hits a knee lift.
Somebody better check his nose. He is just reeling from that offense.
Kennedy fires Shane into the ropes and picks him up and just slams him down. Like he was the tackling dummy in those lineman drills, but that's not going to be enough. Shane sits up as Kennedy's disgusted with himself. And he's going to wrestle around Shane's back and take him down. And now, where's he going? He's going to the top rope. Business just picked up. And hits a flying elbow. Same elbow we saw from James Zipa last match. Kennedy may be showing, hey, I can do that too. Maybe it'll be a battle of elbows in the finals. That could happen. Kennedy picks Shane up now. He just marches him over to the ropes and hangs him out to dry. That guillotine maneuver. Shane moving on to the second round of this tournament was, I was surprised. I got to call that an upset over Mikey P, who did really well in season 1, right up near the top. What do we got here now? We got interference. That's Triple H. Triple H has a problem with Shane? Shane O'Mac? Triple H has a problem with Shane O'Mac? He did at one point. So I guess that makes sense, but Shane's looking at him right now and he's like, Triple H, you got the wrong Shane O'Mac. I'm Shane McDonald. Look, I'm Shane McDonald. Oh, Triple H kicks him. Not having it. Triple H hits Shane with a pedigree out of nowhere for no reason at all. What's Kennedy's ties to Triple H? Or what has Shane done to piss off the game? Kennedy with a weird flip slam followed by a punch right in the mouth. And things not looking good for Shane right now. Wow, Shane is having horrible luck, but still manages to hit Kennedy with a backbreaker against the knee and then a toss right there. Shane now maybe going out to get a weapon. No, coming back in. He's going to go for a pin. And that was a vicious backbreaker that he hit. But maybe if he'd gone for the pin right away. I'm shocked Triple H coming out here. That's crazy. To have a go at Shane. Oh, Kennedy got him. The end of days. That's going to bloody Shane. And that's going to be the match. Adam Kennedy Again, not disappointing in the singles matches, but a hard-fought night of wrestling for Shane. Sent a message, put the rest of the boys on check. Maybe Shane's one of those guys, too, that doesn't do so well in the gimmick matches and fares better one-on-one. Kennedy obviously does. He's moving on to the finals of this tournament. And then we see a couple of near falls and the flying elbow off the top rope. Another near fall. Shane just refusing to quit until he got caught. Caught with the end of days. There's a near fall from Shane. That might have been the one if he'd have been on it a little sooner. And there you see the end of days. Nobody's getting up from that. Wow. Kennedy with a big win over Shane. Stopping that momentum, but I don't know. Shane had a good run in this tournament. I think it's going to put him on a few people's radar. But Kennedy standing tall, and of course moving on to the final round of the Me and the Boys Money in the Bank tournament to take on James Zipa, and I believe both guys in the red. So it should be fairly even. This is exciting. We're almost there. One match left before we crown our first Me and the Boys Money in the Bank tournament winner. And somebody, you know, could have a chance to take on Brooke. Could be next episode, you know. We're going to need to establish a number one contender, probably through Battle Royal, because that's the best way. And we'll see. Maybe we'll tack that match on to the end. So you win the number one contenders match, you're going to get a shot at the title that night. You could win that title, and then you could hear the music of the winner of this next match. Zipa or Kennedy could just come out, cash it in, and take your belt from you. So this is why I'm glad we waited with these titles and whatnot, because now the action's going to be, it's going to come quick. It's going to come furious. There's still the fantasy booking guys are talking smack from the 8-man match. These guys said they were the best thing in wrestling. They want a piece of Me and the Boys. I don't know. I feel like Me and the Boys may have an answer for that. So we'll see what happens. Again, developing story here at Me and the Boys Wrestling. The fantastical storylines that go on at Me and the Boys Wrestling. Looks like we're doing this match with intros because why not? This is the finals. These guys deserve a little recognition. Come on down. Take the long walk all the way down to the ring. Make me come up with more banter that I don't have. I don't know if the weights are accurate. I think it just said Zipa was 220. I don't think that's the case. I guess I didn't adjust that. Maybe he's 220. I don't know. I don't think so, though. I'd say max 2. But, you know, with the belt, maybe the shoes. A tie looks like it probably weighs 3 or 4 pounds. Having a flex for the Wasteland crowd. And the finals. Probably the biggest match for both of these men here at Me and the Boys Wrestling. The stakes haven't really been higher for either guy. Titus. There you hear the dog ruining everything. Let's see if we can get him to stop. Hey! Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're too deep into this episode to cut it now. And it's too much editing to cut it off, so we just let it ride. The dog sees a man outside. There was a man, to be fair. It was somebody in a car that stopped. So I guess he's right to defend the house. Adam Kennedy making his way down to the ring. Titus maybe just doesn't like Adam Kennedy. Maybe that's the case. Started losing his mind. Both these guys look ready. Kennedy's got his gear on, his helmet, all of that. Both these men are ready to have a showdown for the Money in the Bank contract at Me and the Boys Wrestling. Both these guys want it bad. Both these guys fought hard all night. Let's see where the power bars lie. Zipa with a little bit more power than Kennedy, but not by much. And not after this bear hug. That is a vicious bear hug, just ragdolling Zipa all over. See if Zipa knows the counter for it. The double clap, of course he does. And he hits him with a neck breaker. Still with a bit of an edge on power. Kennedy's just going to measure, or Zipa's going to measure Kennedy and just kick him right in the back. Zipa's been on fire this whole tournament and hits a snap suplex on Kennedy. So is Kennedy. 2 matches finished with the end of days, the only man to hit a chair shot. Zipa hits the flying elbow to add insult to injury there, almost out of disrespect. And he's going to go for the pin off the flying elbow, adding even more salt to the wound. Kennedy's up, though. He doesn't look happy about that. But he misses wild with a right as Zipa smashes him with a DDT. And he's going to go for a pin. He's going to get him. He gets him with that DDT. There it is. James Zipa, your Me and the Boys Money in the Bank contract holder, earned himself a title shot at Brooke Sugarfoot Kavanaugh at some point of his choosing. Fantastic. Fantastic news. There you go. It's like a belated birthday present. Look at this man standing tall.
There's plenty of reason for celebration tonight.
Captures the Money in the Bank contract. Good for a title shot at any point during a normal match.
Here for this one-on-one match. I hope you enjoyed it as much as this live crowd appears to have enjoyed it.
Season 1.5 of Me and the Boys Wrestling. Just establish ourselves a Money in the Bank holder before we move into Season 2. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. We see the tournament tree all the way through. I think it gives you a little recap of what all went down, and there we see the man standing tall at the end of it. Let's see what else I do here before I cut this and move on. Or maybe I award. Yeah, okay. It's vacant. Money in the Bank is vacant. And then just to prove, there's no shenanigans going on here at Me and the Boys Wrestling, we'll cycle through and award that personally to one James Zipa, which is something I didn't do with the actual title, and I realized after I should have done that. But that's okay. All right, that's it. That's all. Bring it back to me so that I can say thank you for watching this Money in the Bank tournament at Me and the Boys Wrestling. And I can ask you once again to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling action. Check out Fantasy Booking. Check out some of my songs and my poems and whatnot. And I hope you have a good week. Cheers.